Hello and welcome to AltheaSuite. Today I'm going to show you about unload schedules. To get started, first I'm going to go into my purchases module, and then we're going to go into purchase orders. So in order to do these unload schedules, we first need to create purchase orders. So for example, I have created 3 purchase orders before, numbers 32, 33, and 34 with their respective supplier. So the first one here is a Tempur-Pedic PO. If I just look into the PO by looking at the number, this is just an example of some items that aren't serialized and don't have any equivalents. They're just basically mattresses or regular furniture items. So PO number is number 32, and it goes with Tempur-Pedic. Now, to create the unload schedule for this, we'll need to go into unload schedules on the left-hand side. Then we'll need to make a new unload schedule by clicking the new button all the way at the top. Now, it's very important to choose which warehouse that you want these items to go into. I'm just going to be using my Redmond warehouse. Then for the supplier, we are choosing Tempur-Pedic. We do have a field for a truck if you want to add some additional information like the truck number. We have that field right there. And lastly, we want to go and connect to the PO. So in this case, it's number 32. It's the only one I have for Tempur-Pedic at this time. There's only 4 items in there. Each item has only 1 quantity. So we're going to go ahead and hit save, and that will create the unload schedule. Now, to actually do this unload schedule, what we'll need to do is go to the schedule's context menu, and there is an option to unload the truck. Once we click into that button, it's going to move us into the unload truck screen. And if we scroll all the way down, we'll get into this section. Now, typically, a lot of our customers, they'll have a scanner on hand. I'm going to be emulating the scanner by highlighting the SKU in this case. And then all the system wants to do is just make sure that the SKU is being read in this box, and then we can press enter. I'm pressing enter because I'm putting this on my keyboard, but if you were to scan that barcode by having your cursor there and then scanning the barcode that's in front of you, it will automatically press enter for you. So our first item that we scanned is in our other tab called unloaded items. You can see there's the SKU that we scanned, there's the unloaded quantity there. So now to go back, I'll go back to the items to be unloaded. And to again emulate the scanning capabilities, I'm just going to highlight this SKU and press enter manually. You would effectively keep doing this until you run out of items. I'm going to scan this one last item by dragging it up there and pressing enter. Now, once you get done and you don't have any more records to scan, then we can go ahead and hit this complete unload button. This will wrap up this unload schedule and complete it, and that will save that document. Now, one thing is, if for whatever reason you didn't scan in one of these items, so I went to the context menu to undo the unloaded item to put it back into the items to be loaded. But let's say for this example that at the end of this unload schedule, this item was never onto our truck, so we can never scan its barcode. So that's what we have, this other option to mark the unloaded items, so everything that's in this tab. We're going to consider these items as complete, and it's going to move all of the items to be unloaded into a new schedule. Move pending to new schedule. So on the left-hand tab, this is technically the pending items that will get moved to a new schedule once we hit that button. If I do that, it's going to ask us, are we sure? If we want to say yes. This is going to do 2 things. Firstly, it completed our first schedule for Tempur-Pedic. And then secondly, it created us another schedule. And if I go into the schedule and try to unload the truck, it's going to be that one item that we missed from the first one. So it completed the first schedule and then it created a different schedule. So then all we have to do now is just do the same thing, scanning our SKU into the SKU field, pressing enter, and then there we go. Once the item has been fully unloaded and there aren't any more items to be unloaded, we need to hit that complete unloading button. Again, this will ask us, are we sure? And we'll hit yes. So those were the unload schedules for simple items. I have another PO that has a little bit more complexity to it. So in this PO, I look at the PO number again. These are for Electrolux. And these are some vacuum cleaners that I have. These vacuum cleaners in my system, they only have the has serial number flag. So when I start to scan these, they are going to prompt me to record each of their serial numbers. To show you this, we'll go back out of here. We're going to go back into our unloaded schedules. We're going to create a new unload schedule. I'm going to still go choose my same warehouse. Then for the supplier, I'm going to use Electrolux. The supplier selection is important when it comes to selecting your POs. So here's my PO number 33. So press OK. It's got 5 items on them, 5 each with 1 quantity for the vacuum cleaners. So I'm going to hit save on this to save the schedule. This created another document number for my schedule. And to get started, we'll go to the context menu is the same and hit that unload truck button. This time, once we get into the unload schedule, I'm still going to be putting my cursor on there if I have a scanner. And then I'm scanning each of these model numbers. But again, I don't have a scanner. So I'm going to be emulating this by copying this and pasting it into my SKU field. Now, some of these vacuum cleaners that are coming from Electrolux, some of them might have a revision number in them. So if that's the case, the scanner will automatically detect the revision number. By this example, I'll emulate this by putting a 01. So usually it's a space and then a digit there. And then once we do that, the system does recognize that this item without the revision number exists in my account as that model number right there. And then from here, we're just going to put our serial number in, and then we'll press OK. What this does is it takes it again from the items to be unloaded into the unloaded items. Now in here, you can see that my SKU is right there, and we have a section for the serial number that got recorded. So you basically keep on doing this until you run out of your models. And once you get scanning, that's going to be pretty much it. And then we can go and finish this unload schedule like so. So once all your items are there, you now have 0 records. As said before, if you have an item that you didn't come into the shipping, no. As stated before, if you had an item that wasn't unloaded from the truck, it's still in the section, then we would hit this button to mark all the unloaded items as complete and move the pending item to another unload schedule for you to complete. But since we're done, there's all my serial numbers, and then we'll go ahead and complete that unloading button. It's going to ask us, are we sure? We'll say yes. Now we'll finish out this unload schedule. So that one was a PO that just had serial numbers. However, we do have a more complex version of that. So if I go back to my POs, our last PO that we have is for General Electric, so GE. If I look at my GE PO, it's going to have a bunch of different items in here. But all of these items also have something called QLN, which stands for Quick Lookup Number. So in my account, every item that goes through the unload schedule, they get automatically assigned a QLN. And I will demonstrate this here. Once I go and create a new unload schedule. So choosing the warehouse, go to Redmond AltheaSuite. The supplier was General Electric. And then our PO was PO number 34. Also see this by the date right there for today. Now I'm going to save this PO, and then I'm going to get started by unloading it. So now we can do what we do normally. So find our first item, whatever item it is, comes off the truck. We scan the model number. This time, whenever we scan the model number, you can see on the right-hand side, we have a quick lookup number that got assigned to this model number. So it gets assigned to the model number. It also marries itself to the serial number, whatever we decide to put. And once I press OK, it's scanning the item successfully. But now if we go down into the unloaded items tab, you can see I have a quick lookup number column as well as my serial number. So quick lookup number 227 now belongs to the serial number BZ42462, which all is married to this model number right here. All of this will make sense once we get down into the serial number manager and show you all this. But in the time being, I'll just scan in these items. And once you scan in your last item, Items to be unloaded are blank, and then our unloaded items are in here with all of their different QLNs and all of the different serial numbers that we've been reporting. Last thing to do now is complete this unloading button. It's going to ask you, are you sure? We'll say yes. So that's how to create the unload schedules and add the POs after you create them. Then as they get unloaded, I have a setting turned on in my account to where all of the POs that we complete, it completes a purchase document, but all of the purchase documents will say financial transactions are still pending. That's for your purchaser or your other manager to come over here to go to the context menu to complete the purchase by adding any final cost or any shipping charges or additional expenses to these purchase documents. Now to show the manager, what I'll do is go down into inventory, and then I'm gonna go into serial numbers. Once we're in the serial numbers, I'm gonna go over to my column where it says serial number creation date. I will actually move this forward a little bit. And then I'm gonna go and sort this. So this is now looking at everything that happened today. Now that I have my columns sorted for my serial number creation date, you can see all of the GE items that we selected. They have their QLN numbers. And then these items that we got from Electrolux right here, those items did not have any QLNs associated with them. They just have the serial number attribute. So the serial number gets used in both the serial number column and the quick lookup number column if the QLN attribute isn't selected on the item. And then all of those mattresses that we also selected, those either didn't have a QLN or a serial number, so they just went in as products. But that is how to create POs and how to create unload schedules in AltheaSuite and how to complete them. Thank you.